crypto warriors, changing our world day by day. The way of the crypto warriors, can't rely on the bankers, no way.
Good morning, Bix Weir, roadroad.com. With your morning horn disease, your sip of chaga coffee. We're getting to the end of this game. So much going on behind the scenes. I'm trying to dive in deeper and deeper into who the third party is in the JP Morgan Bank of America lease. Might not even be a lease. It might be a structured deal. The key is anybody can end up with a derivative. What you want to end up with is the physical metal in your own possession. And I think I know who it is. And it's definitely a good guy. And definitely someone that I've talked about before, an entity. But let's talk about what's going on in the daily grind of silver. It is well below all the moving averages, as you can tell from this chart. It's not the first time it's stayed below the moving averages, and it can stay there for as long as they keep clicking that mouse. They could put the price of silver to minus $40 if they wanted. They did it with oil, they could do it with silver. Will they do that in the end? I don't think so. In cryptos, they want shut down for a while, which I think they will and can, obviously. Obviously, as in, all they have to do is shut down the exchanges. And there are some decentralized exchanges, but not many. And obviously, if you shut down Coinbase and Kraken and Gemini and Binance, you would affect the price of cryptos. But this is all... I think things will happen during the crash. You want to have your cryptos in your own possession only. No DeFi. DeFi is done. I hope everybody understands that. DeFi was a joke always. Why? Because, you're basically impinging on the banking cabal. And Gary Gensler, one of his first things he's going to go after is DeFi companies. And stablecoins. Stablecoins mainly because probably the government wants to have their own stablecoin. But as I've said before, the government already has a digital stablecoin. I wouldn't call it it's a stablecoin. The US dollar is a digital coin that never changes from a dollar, and they make as many as they want, just like the stablecoins do today, and Tether and Luna and all the other insane things that the unsophisticated crypto lovers have invested in. Those are securities by definition. And get out of all that shit. Get your cryptos in your own possession only, in your own possession. And make sure if the world explodes, as I believe it will, with the derivative meltdown, 2 quadrillion's about to go, by the way. When that does happen, make sure you are able to get, like if you're staking coins, make sure that if you unstake, they come back into your own wallet and there's no third party involved. It doesn't matter. Like Gpool, for example. There's rumblings about issues with the liquidity pools and all that DeFi type stuff. I never recommended it. I never said to get into that type of stuff. But if Gpool goes down as the nodes go down, it comes right back into your own wallet. I'll announce it. If they're at 100%, the Guardian nodes and the 100% uptime, and the Edge nodes, 100% uptime. That's great. And there's a couple others that are 100%. But if Gpool goes away for any reason and stops being 100%, all you have to do is unstake and it comes right into your wallet. That's the kind of protection you need for all your cryptos. And you won't be affected when all these companies go down and entities. Although Theta will be affected by the crash of Theta Labs, and Theta Labs will be crushed by the crashing of the banking system. So will Sony and Samsung and Google. Everything gets affected, and then it's how do we restart the system? And that's during. I think silver is going to be the number one asset during. Although there won't be any exchanges to check out the price. Mainly because the manipulation will end. When the banks go down, there is no more manipulation of the price of silver. And it can find its true fair market value, which will probably be somewhere in the neighborhood of 1-to-1 with gold. Gold will double or triple probably, but that means silver is going to go 100, 200, 500,000x times what it is today, the rigged price. Guys I think they should throw in jail, obviously, Jamie Dimon, obviously, Jeffrey Christian, obviously, anybody that contributed to the manipulation of the price of silver should be in jail. Bullion banks. But that's, I don't even think the court system will be up and running properly. So clearly the United States of America's justice system has been destroyed. The regulators, completely on the side of the bad guys. I'll get to that in 1 second. But where we are right now, you can get silver for, I heard people are selling silver for like $5 or $6, $7 over spot. As the price lowers, that's a huge percentage over spot. But if you waited so long to get your silver, you're going to have to pay more. And that percentage will go up and up and up. And when we say spot, all we mean is the COMEX derivative price set by the banks. So yes, silver is not $21.49 an ounce. If you can find silver at $21.49, go buy it today. But it's not. You can't. Call up Andy Scheckman, see what he's got in inventory, go for the cheap stuff. In my opinion, inexpensive, recognizable coins, 1 ounce rounds. Keep it low in the denomination, 10 ounce. It's probably as high as I want to go, just because the potential for faking bars. It's easier to fake a 100 ounce bar than it is a 1 ounce coin. But Andy stands behind his stuff, and he, I'm sure they. I'm not sure they test the 100 ounce bars. I don't think they drill them. I don't think anybody drills gold bars. No, I know that nobody drills gold bars. They're too pretty to drill into. Who knows what's inside gold bars? Molybdenum. No, that's silver. Tungsten would be gold, the closest in density. Anyway, get your silver in your own possession now. If you have gold, swap it for silver ASAP. Up at 85. I think it's still 85 to 1. That's just insane. Insanity reigns supreme. But check out the moving averages. As you can tell, silver's way below the moving averages. Way below. So that game is being played out. I was conversing with Ted Butler about who I think the third party in the least short is. He doesn't agree with me, which is a lot of the times he doesn't agree with me. But he only goes by published data. He refuses to go into the conspiracy world, which is great for him on the I wouldn't say the credibility side, because as we've seen, credibility is not someone who necessarily doesn't believe in conspiracy theories. Look at Jeffrey Christian, for example. He has no credibility, and he doesn't believe in conspiracy theories. The conspiracy theory is things like Enron was a conspiracy theory when I was in the banking system, and I remember people saying, "Oh, Enron's a fraud," and I would say Enron is running a fraudulent shell corporations, and people would say, "Oh my God, Bix, that's a conspiracy theory." Well, yes, it was, and it just happened to be a conspiracy fact. As we've seen, J.P. Morgan rigging the silver market was a conspiracy theory until they proved that it was a conspiracy fact, and J.P. Morgan fined them $920 million, the largest fine in commodity history, and Jeffrey Christian has yet to admit that silver rigging was going on during those 10 years that he was saying that the GATA guys were tinfoil hat guys. So that's where we are. I don't mind trudging around in the conspiracy theory world, but I do like to do a lot of research on it. And the research I have done on this third party is part of this is much bigger than just the JP Morgan Bank of America lease of silver. This is the takedown of the banking cabal through a structured operation that has already been dealt with. Now, the question is, will Bank of America and JP Morgan default on their obligations? Because the obligations are only 1 year obligations. Another reason why I'm working on a timeline, I believe I know when all this shit's going to go down. It's going down now. And I'm not looking at the next couple days. I'll just tell you that. But I am looking at 2022. And if the end of 175 years of silver manipulation happens in 2022, I think I can wait for the rest of the year, truthfully. And it'll give me more time to load up on more silver. And you guys too. But it could happen like a thief in the night at any moment. My inkling is probably closer to September, but Cliff has some craziness in his data for the rest of the month, this month. So anything can happen. It's all a process of the slow breaking down, but I'm talking about the end game for silver manipulation. And $600 silver is just a start. So definitely get your silver in your own possession. Number one, go to your local coin shop. I think I'll visit mine today. I got a little cash. I think I'll go visit. And number two, if you don't have a local coin shop that you trust, you can use my broker, Andy Scheckman and Miles Franklin. Send them an email, Andy, A-N-D-Y, at milesfranklin.com, milesfranklin.com. And buy what he's got in inventory. I always suggest buying what is in inventory. With Andy, maybe a couple days you can say, okay, he's getting a big shipment in. I can get a better price if I wait 5 days. I don't think that's a problem. But you never know when the system's going to shut down. The banks shut down, Andy shuts down, everybody shuts down, your local coin shop shuts down, and it's over. You can't get any silver anymore. As Cliff calls it, silver goes unobtainium. And same with cryptos. Unobtainium. Doesn't mean they're so expensive that you can't buy them. It just means the avenues for getting it. The exchanges are shut down. The facilities are shut down. When the banking collapse happens, when the derivative bomb goes off, it's a weapon of mass financial destruction. Everything is destroyed. And that's what we're headed for this year. And this fake government will be destroyed. All these bad things that we have seen, if you dig half a tunnel, you're going to see a hell of a lot more than you expect. I hear the Hunter emails have been released. Interesting to dive through those. Just because he's just an odd dude. But all the fraud and the stuff with the kids and all that is just bad news. Anyway, so silver, the only other thing I want to say about silver is the exchange for physical. It's a big one this month, really big. On track for about 150 million ounces, which would make it the second largest in the last year. Now, exchange for physical does not necessarily mean physical. All it really means is that the COMEX contracts are being transferred over to the LBMA. And LBMA is not all physical contracts, as we all know. LBMA claims to transfer over 100 billion ounces of silver every year, and we know that's a lie. So, once these contracts get over to England, to the LBMA, anything can happen to them. They can just be closed out as a derivative. They absolutely, the vast majority of the contracts on the LBMA are derivative contracts. But also, there's no limits on deliveries. So maybe that is a delivery. Maybe that's how this third party is actually getting the physical silver into their hands. I don't know, truthfully. Ted thinks that, no, that's not, the exchange for physical is nothing. It's irrelevant because of what the LBMA is. LBMA is not a physical exchange of silver. It's not. It's lying, cheating, and stealing. And the vast majority of those, I think it's 135 billion with a B ounces aren't physical deliveries. Those are just paper contracts, just like the COMEX, being bought and sold, handed back and forth from bank to bank. So, but it's fun to keep an eye on. All right, let's talk it. Coin market cap, Tether. All eyes on Tether. Tether will be the, when the bad guys and the banksters and the regulators and the U.S. governments of the world want to crash the cryptos, they're going to do it with Tether. They're going to say Tether's a fraud. They're going to crush Tether. Whatever they do, it will be with Tether. Tether is the deep state linchpin for rigging. I call them the crypto cabal. It's the bad guy part of the cabal. Complete fraud, completely knee-deep with Epstein and Clintons and all that stuff, all that bad stuff. And we need to purge ourselves of that. So I believe that Tether will lead the cryptos to slaughter. They'll all go down to a certain point, and then they will be resurrected from the fire when Tether's gone, And the good ones will remain. No DeFi will remain. Just keep that in mind. No DeFi will remain. And I know a lot of you are locked into your DeFi contracts now. I told you not to do that. No third parties, remember? In your own possession only. So, yeah, I expect that to happen this year as well. Probably before silver runs for the moon. And silver might get a little crash out when the system crashes. It's just that silver's so different than everything else. We're talking 175 years of silver price suppression. And yes, they can click a mouse and put it at minus $40. They can put Tether at minus $40. They can put Bitcoin at minus $40. These exchanges are not real exchanges. It's all fake. It's all derivative. So I do expect that to happen. I don't know where Theta will go. It will go way down, but you won't be able to get your hands on it. That's the key. These exchanges will shut down. You won't be able to go out and buy it. Maybe if you have your local crypto dealer that can do a physical exchange for you. Say, meet me at the grocery store like Dick Allgaier used to do, and buy with cash type of thing. But cash won't be available either. Remember, when this system falls apart, it's everything. This is not just a kind of a blip in the log like the 2008 financial crisis. This is the 2008 financial crisis that was not saved. There will be no saving of this system. There's no Jesra and Nesra or the Iraqi dinar, the freedom funds and all that, the Asian secret entities that have all this gold. They probably have it, but it's not going to get implemented into a new financial system. As we have seen time and time again, there can be no deciders of this game that they're playing. And Klaus Schwab is not going to be running the world. He's going to be one of those guys in jail. The Dick Allgaier people who say run the world, those are the people that we'll be going after, saying you caused this mess. You belong in jail. We don't want you around anymore. And then America will shut its borders. Pull all our troops home, hopefully do it beforehand. Get all our troops back home now. If you're in the military, really think hard about whether you want to be serving overseas at this time of chaos. I know you don't have a lot of choice, but you could talk to your guys in your platoon or whatever, and at the end of the day, you guys need to make that decision and come home and protect your country. Don't protect the bad guys' country starts with a U. That's the bad guys' war. That was their stronghold, and that's what Putin's going after. In this, after the crash, after the complete destruction of everything, it will be seen how the stock market, the bond market, the foreign exchange markets were all rehypothecated. Fake shares everywhere in this game. Everywhere. The US dollar, fake shares everywhere. That's when Veritasium will shine. And they'll come to Reggie and say, hey, if this is true, if we do have the complete collapse of our exchanges because of fraud, and most of it is because of fraud, and the U.S. government wants to start a similar system, they would have to look at Reggie's his patent. And that patent was granted for a reason. The 98 million Veritasium tokens that are currently frozen by the SEC were frozen for a reason. They weren't sold off. They weren't dumped. They weren't given to anybody. They are sitting there and waiting. There's 2 million out there Veritasium that are trading, which is they're trading at $33. If it is true that Cliff Hyda's data is correct, and they go to Reggie and say, we fucked up, help us get our exchanges back up and running on a peer-to-peer type of transaction exchange, which is great. It means there's no JP Morgan, Citibank, there's no rigging of the exchanges. Virtu Financial, goodbye, Vinny Viola. Yeah, I'd want to own Veritasium, definitely. Again, Veritasium is my kind of insurance against the complete collapse of this. So there you go. Holochain Jenny loves. She says that's going to be a big one. I looked into it. Yeah, it's decentralized storage of data. I think she believes they're going to hook up with someone, and I would guess it would be someone like Theta, potentially. But I don't know. I don't know on that one. That was Jenny's big one, and looking into it, it looks solid. But who knows? Who knows? We are moving into... So last month, the inflation rate went from 8.5% to what, 8.3 or 8.2? It was a blip, only because a year before it was 8. It had gone up a lot in percentage-wise. This month, we're going to see hyperinflation really kick in. I think we're going to be over 9% when it's declared around the 11th, I think it is, of June. Everything I see for May looks like it is up. High gasoline and diesel prices are here to stay. U.S. gas and diesel prices are record highs. They had a record for every single state. Now, the crooked government, the Bureau of Statistics, Labor and Statistics, cannot report that we don't have higher inflation because every single state in the union hit its all-time high in gasoline prices this month in May. So we're going to have a huge jump, I think over 9%, and then it starts the craziness. Because over 9% is when Paul Volcker started raising interest rates to 20%. He went to 10, 15 to 20%, and it took 3 years to get that inflation in check. Jerome Powell has not raised interest rates at all. It's at 1%. 1% versus 9% inflation, that is an accident waiting to happen. If he doesn't raise it to 10% or 15 or 20%, then we will see the next month it will jump to 15% and then 20% and then 40%, then 100%, and then the end of the game. They might crash the system before that. Again, this is ending this year, so they might not raise interest rates, just say, fuck it. We're just going to let it run and see what happens. Putin Xi, great article in Zero Hedge by Jim Quinn of the Burning Platform blog. Part 2 are Putin and Xi great champions. Yes, of course, I have said it for a long time. Trump, Putin, and Xi devised this plan how to destroy the banking cabal and destroy the deep state. First, Trump would be the bad guy, which he did very well. Then Putin will be the bad guy, which he's doing very well, and then it'll be Xi, which he's already started. With Putin, he's taking out the deep state in the U country. And right now, he can shut off Europe for all the oil and gas he wants. He controls it. And it's a powerful place to be. Europeans are so stupid. Klaus Schwab and those guys, that's another reason. They're going to be strung up. They're going to rot in jail where they should. George Soros and those guys, they should rot in jail. But interesting line, really interesting article. Read both of them. But in summary down here, both Putin and Xi see the deterioration, degradation, and unseriousness of those steering the American ship of state into a sea of icebergs. They witness the bumbling fool of a president on a daily basis and the dim-witted sycophants running his administration behind the curtain. It would be comical if these amateurs weren't in the process of tearing the fabric of America's society to shreds, while simultaneously pushing the world into a global conflict in which the likelihood of nuclear confrontation grows by the day. Xi most certainly plans to enact a takeover of Taiwan when he believes the U.S. is too distracted, militarily stretched, and bogged down in their European misadventure. Biden has already pushed Russia and China closer, along with India, while the majority of the world supports Russia in this conflict. You will not hear that from the U.S. media, but that is a fact. The U.S. empire is not loved by the rest of the world. It has been feared because if you stepped out of line in honoring the U.S. dollar for all its obligations, you were summarily bombed into oblivion or cut off from the billions in foreign aid, aka bribes, doled out by American politicians. None of the foreign aid ever aids the people of those countries. It aids corrupt foreign leaders, arms dealers, politicians who have a portion of funds funneled back into their pockets. It has worked like a charm for decades, but these arrogant sycophants went too far this time with their COVID scheme, unleashing a tsunami of inflation and destroying the just-in-time global supply chain they created when they sold off manufacturing to China. The horrific reported inflation of 8.3 is really 17%, if measured as it was during Paul Volcker's reign as the Federal Reserve Chairman. Of course, he took the courageous action of raising rates to 20% in order to crush it, and it succeeded. The cowardly Powell has rates under 1% and will do as he is told by his globalist overlords, destroying our economies so the Great Reset can move forward unabated. Good stuff. That's a good summary. And then from the World Economic Forum, they're trying to tell us why food prices are increasing. And they say it's increasing. Consumers have experienced the most significant shock in global food prices in more than a generation. And the food prices for home consumption were up 10% year over year in March 2022. That's the largest increase in more than 40 years. But what happened? How did we get on this track? This guy says, what has led to the food crisis? We have the COVID-19 pandemic. He blames the pandemic, changes customer behavior, and supply chain disruptions that led to an increase of food prices. That's such bullshit. That's bullshit. All the rules that you can't make food anymore because of the pandemic, that was the problem. So it's government related. And more recently, the war in Ukraine has affected global grain markets. That's the deep state. We're taking out the deep state. Of course it's going to affect the grain market. But what about where's the printing of quadrillions of dollars? That's the number one cause of inflation. Quadrillions of dollars has been printed. And they don't say anything. This is supposed to be the world's smartest people at the World Economic Forum. Domestically in the U.S., March inflation report showed that food prices for home consumption were up 10%. Will prices go down anytime soon? Here in the U.S., we can expect food prices to continue increasing into the future because of the Ukraine conflict and disruptions to grain and edible oil markets, ... And they're not going to stop printing money. They're not going to raise interest rates. If they don't raise interest rates, we have super hyperinflation, and by the time the end of the summer comes, it's over. That's all part of the plan. So that's my take on the road to Ruta. I'll be posting information, shall we say, on when I think this is going to all happen, go down, and also who the secret silver third party is. Really interesting stuff, and I'm pretty sure I've nailed it down. I might take a couple more weeks of investigating that. I've already got like reams of information on who it is, why he's doing it, and I gave it away. It's a he, yes. And what's going to happen. Very exciting stuff. Go to roadtoruta.com. I'll be putting that on the private road. To subscribe, hit subscribe today, and I will send you one silver Ruta coin. The coolest coin ever. And when the road to Ruta theory is proven correct, this coin is going to be extremely valuable. So just keep that in mind. For 1 year membership or renewal, we're shipping you a Ruta Lives coin, hand-painted, double strike, with each is individually numbered, cases and authentication, all that good stuff. We'll be putting a video out soon on that. So that's what I got for you. This is Bix. I'll talk to you.